another episode of that show that goes across the ring and across the pond to break down all the hotness in NXT and NXT UK action. Draped and go. Hello, everyone. My name is Flobo, Boyce, and well, let's get right into it. You see, I am not alone, as I'm always not alone. I'm being joined by the man you may have seen on the Mac Mania podcast, or heard him, I guess, on the Mac Mania podcast. Champs Wrestling from Hollywood, Wrestling Inc. Raw After Show, and he's doing so much more. Please give it up for the Hall of Farmer, Jack Farmer.
Hail the conquering hero. We have a new heritage champion, baby. I am so excited about what I just got.
I bet you are.
Watching. I hope everyone who's watching this show right now watched NXT UK, because if you did, you saw what a champion looks like.
Well, it's not you. Yes, new Heritage Cup champion is Noam Dar. When in surprising fashion, and I know you're going to be like, surprising? What do you mean? Because the towel was involved. I had no idea you could do that. What up, Kirsten? Thanks for coming on the show. Thanks for being on here in the chat, the live show. But look, Jack, walk me through this. Tyler Bate, Noam Dar, pretty much evenly matched up and down each and every single rounds, but it was a wayward towel. That was all the difference.
Evenly matched. What match were you watching? What I saw is Noam Dar beat down Tyler Bate so bad that Trent Seven had to throw in the towel. With all the beatdowns we've seen on NXT UK, whether it be Walter, whether it be Dragunov, Coffey, Rampage, all those guys, I don't remember a guy ever beat down so bad his partner had to throw in the towel to save his life. Noam Dar is going to be holding that championship for a long time with the way he just laid the smack down.
Yeah, I don't know who Noam Dar subcontracted to pay off you and Nigel McGuinness, but let's talk about what really happened today. So it looked like Mustache Mountain, you had alluded to this, aren't quite seeing eye to eye. So that was already in the background, but Pretty Deadly get involved, and you can say they didn't, but they did get involved. And your boy Trent Seven threw the towel behind him, which was kind of like misconstrued by the referee. Now, usually you would say, hey, look, if the guy who threw the towel said, I didn't throw the towel, you would restart the match. But you're saying it stands because Noam Dar somehow earned it because he beat Tyler Bate so bad the ref had no choice but to call the matchup.
You have so many holes in the story that you just told, Mr. Swiss Cheese. Listen, right off the bat, Pretty Deadly, our champions, they just wanted to come out and see a match of that caliber, see what another champion looked like Noam Dar. They wanted to go out there and be front and center. And look, it's not like there's not precedent for that. They were out there on commentary last week. It makes sense for them to be out there, for them to be at ringside. Plus, let's not pretend that this brand doesn't need the eye candy a little bit out there at ringside in front of the camera. You need to have Pretty Deadly in the camera shot.
For eye candy?
As far as this, he said he didn't throw the towel in afterwards. Of course he tried to take it back after Noam Dar is releasing the hold. Of course he's like, oh, no, he's safe now. Let's keep the match going. Come on, you throw in the towel. You can't tap and then suddenly say, I didn't mean to tap. He quit. He ended the match. And look, maybe Trent Seven, I think if I was going to make any type of argument for Tyler Bate, maybe it was the fact that Trent Seven's starting to see that Tyler Bate just isn't taking the tag team seriously. And he got mad and wanted to show him that, hey, I'm important too. I think maybe instead of trying to make up for this, maybe Trent Seven should just be honest and say, look, I threw it in on purpose to show you that I have value also.
Let's hear from our chat right now. Lamb says, Pretty Deadly wanted to see possible challenges up close. Of course, because there's no monitors in England, apparently. Great scouting by the tag team champs. And Maj Sandu says, shout out to Jack and Flobo, aka the weekend's relative to the weekday Mac Mania pocket. Look, man, if you don't want the weekend fan base smoke, it's a long story. Do not listen to that segment of the Mac Mania podcast. Listen to the Mac Mania podcast, but skip over it. We're talking about the weekend, okay? And Elliot Fletcher.
Take my breath.
And Elliot Fletcher says, the buildup between Bate and Seven has been great. The eventual match is going to be so awesome whether they break up or not. And if they do that, I want the weekend on the soundtrack. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Please don't get me canceled. So do you think that's going to happen? Do you think it's going to happen? You think there's going to be a breakup of Mustache Mountain? Or is this kind of a way from the shift into the tag team division?
I think that it's really up to Tyler Bate and whether or not he can quit being so selfish and self-centered. Tyler Bate right now has just
burn my coffee on my lip. What do you mean?
So full of himself, so thinking about his championships, whether or not he's going to get a NXT UK title shot or defending this Heritage Cup. I never hear him talk about being the tag team champion, even though Trent Seven is out here just working as a tag team partner, training with him, cutting promos with him, doing everything he needs to do to be a good partner. Tyler Bate, selfishly though, always thinking of himself. I don't remember him ever, after he lost the match, he didn't say to himself, hey, I get to be a tag team again. No, he was like, what about me? What about Tyler Bate?
He was confused because he didn't tap and someone tapped. I would be confused too. But you know what? I want to move on. But before I do, Noam Dar is the new Heritage Cup champion. Who's first in line?
But I think that the person that really has earned a shot is Shaw Samuels. But unlike Tyler Bate, I think Shaw Samuels knows that Noam Dar is a friend, and he's not going to do anything to cause a rift in that relationship. So I don't know if that's going to be the next one up. I think that A-Kid is always a perennial contender, and I think I'd like to see those two have another rematch.
Yeah, AK feels like a guy who put himself in a corner, really going for broke and not coming out with the NXT United Kingdom Championship. So yeah, that'd be kind of cool to see him there.
How about you? Who do you want to see?
I wanted to say, you know what? I didn't actually win this legitimately and give it back to Tyler Bate, but I'm so glad you asked. You know what I'm saying? I'm so thankful you asked.
What a lame. You probably think that everyone out there deserves a little trophy that says participant, don't you?
I mean, if it's available, yeah, why not?
It is nice to get a participant trophy.
I only run 10Ks but get a medal at the end. Not like my own personal achievement bull crap. I need a piece of metal. That's what I need.
I'll be honest with you. I'll come in like 1,000th place, but still be like, I got the medal for finishing.
Yeah, exactly. Participation. We want more participation medals. That's
not the sticker on the back of the car.
Oh yeah, the 13.1 or whatever.
Yeah.
So lame. But things that are not lame is being able to focus on new talent. Charlie Dempsey is on a roll, and he had a match against Danny Jones. He did pretty well himself until he got his arm ripped out of his socket by the guy. Jeepers. What do you make of this? Charlie Dempsey, 3 appearances or 4 appearances in this Charlie Dempsey character. Where do you think he stacks up in NXT UK?
I do like that you mentioned Danny Jones. I thought Danny Jones did a good job of showing himself as a talent today. Obviously, the story is Dempsey, but Danny Jones, I think, did himself a lot of favors. I think we'll see him again very soon. Charlie Dempsey, I like what I'm seeing here. He's a great wrestler. As Nigel said, he always keeps body-to-body contact, it seems, when he's wrestling and putting on these holds, not really giving his opponent a chance to get out, but I'm ready to see him get in the ring with someone a little bit bigger. I think you know who I'm alluding to. I want to see him stand up for himself against some of the Gallus boys, maybe Wolfgang.
Wow, Wolfie will kill him. I mean, he's no slouch. Went all the way pretty far in that tournament for the Heritage Cup. I would not want to go from Danny Jones to Wolfgang. That could be a death sentence.
Well, Wolfgang's going to be a different style for Dempsey, but if you're going to make it in NXT UK, you got to be ready to throw it down with the big boys. By the way, I know we always compare him to a wolf because his name's Wolfgang, but with his hair today, he just looked like a lion to me, Wolfgang did. Yeah, I just imagined, I don't want to say the cowardly lion because I would never say he's cowardly, but I could totally see him hanging out with Dorothy and the Scarecrow with his hair down today.
Are you insulting him or shooting your shot? I can't tell which one you're going to do. You look like a lion today. Just so majestic.
He did.
I mean, yeah, he's pretty cute.
Yeah, he had some. Yeah, the way his hair was, I just thought he looked like a lion. I'm trying to be nice. Okay?
Yeah, that never happens. That's so unlike your character, Jack. You nice? Oh, jeez. I'm in the same boat. I do want to see Charlie.
Do you think he's a lion also?
I do think he's a lion, a very, very beautiful lion, if I can say so. But no, I'm saying Charlie Dempsey is really for some real competition. Is it Wolfgang? You know what? It wasn't on my radar, but I would say that would be kind of cool matchup. Why the heck not? Especially after what happened today. Yeah,
they've been running into each other backstage a couple of times now, and I think Dempsey needs to show them that, look, guys, you can't keep going into people's locker rooms, stealing their coffee, interrupting promos, and all the other things that these guys keep doing. Dempsey needs to stand up for himself. You got to stand up for yourself in NXT UK, as we always say. You can be a nice guy other places, but in NXT UK, you got to fight for your spot. And that doesn't just mean winning matches. That means when Gallus boys come through the locker room, you need to be able to stand up to him. This is that moment where if he doesn't do it now, I think that for the rest of time, we'll remember him as the guy that let Gallus walk all over him.
Yikes. Lamb says, oh, wait, Charlie Dempsey for Heritage Cup champion. There's a swerve.
Yeah, I think he could get there. I mean, he's got to earn a shot at Noam Dar. And I mean, Noam Dar is a supernova. Come on.
Oh my! He can go on the show and just insult Noam. That's a very easy path to becoming a number one contender. Just tick him off.
Well, I think that Dempsey definitely has a very bright future ahead of him, and I think that if he gets in the ring with anyone, he's going to have a shot at winning. So, I think that would be a great matchup. But let's not rush things. Dempsey's, as you said, match 3 here. Let's let him earn his shot a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if he was going to Gallus, the person I thought he would challenge first would be Mark Coffey. And speaking of Mark Coffey, he was in action today, top of the card. Mark Coffey against Rohan Raja with Tio Man on ringside. And I'm telling you, man, Tio Man always looks like someone just stole from him or something. He's always mad, always just so surly. But anyway, Mark Coffey gets the win. Again, for weeks on this show, we've talked about Gallus' run of form. Is this a start of a new trend, or is this what they call a dead cat bounce for Gallus?
This was such a needed win for Mark Coffey. He needed this win. I thought it was a great showing for Rohan. By the way, Rohan Raja, always bigger than I remember him being whenever he gets into the ring. Kind of like Boa on NXT. I for some reason, when I think of him as a certain size. And then when he gets in the ring, I'm like, whoa, he's a big fella. He's beefy. So I thought Rohan looked great in this match. Mark Coffey needed to win this match. And something that I took away from this at the end of it, though, was something we always say at NXT UK is, I think on paper going into this match, if this was something you saw tweeted out as a match to expect, you'd say this is one of the quote unquote smaller matches. Maybe there's not a title on the line. We don't really know where these teams of guys are stacking up in different divisions right now. But you watch this match and it was a slugfest. It was a fight. These guys were fighting like the title was on the line. And that's just every single match you see in NXT UK. This one being a great example of it. I love this match. I thought these guys both put out a great effort. And like I said, Mark Coffey needed this win and Gallus needed this win.
Yeah, that's sure they did. But Tioman had other plans. Looked like he was kind of frustrated with Rohan not being able to seal the deal today. What's next for them, you think?
Well, as we saw after the match, they decided to seal the deal their own ways with an attack on Gallus Boys. And I know some people are probably looking at that saying to themselves, well, how dare they attack Gallus Boys? But let's be honest, Gallus, they're getting in everyone's business already. They're messing up everyone's locker rooms. That's what happens when you start being loud and knocking things down and making a big scene. Guys like Tioman come and they put you back in your place.
Talking about making a big scene backstage, Flash Morgan Webster was trying to slap the face or the taste out the mouth of Rampage Brown, but Rampage said nope and gave him a slam against the wall that rival most action movies. Now, I have 2 questions here. Do you think Rampage will actually murder Flash Morgan Webster? And 2, what is up with some coach slapping people backstage? I think it's coming to a head.
Well, I don't know what they're doing. This has got to be the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. And I dumb thing. You tried to go slap Rampage Brown in the face. There are a million things I would rather do than slap Rampage Brown in the face. And now Rampage, he did the worst thing you could ever do to somebody. He could have beaten him up right there, but no, he said, I'll see you later in a match. So now he's got to think about it. He's got to think about the beatdown he's about to take. I don't know what the benefit of this is. If you're going to go slapping people around, go find someone who's little. Go find someone who you can slap around. What are you doing? You find the biggest guy and slap him in the face? You're out of your mind.
Pro tip from Jack right here. Find somebody weaker than you. Come on.
Right. If you're going to be a bully right.
Right. Maj says this. Rohan Raja, Jinder Mahal, the modern day Maharajas. Well, it's interesting because Rohan claims like 6 different countries. He's like born in Australia, but was trained in Canada, but lives in the United Kingdom. Like, I don't know, man. And Lamb says slapping someone back here is kind of the new, hey, I want a match, let's do it. Yeah, back in my day, guys just hung out after matches and clapped really slow on top of the ramp. But now we slap people backstage. Things have changed. Jack, what's going on?
That was what they used to do.
Good job.
That's so funny, yeah. And then they slowly walk away. Yeah.
Do the belt thing.
And then the person in the ring would either nod or they'd point.
Right. See you next week. Yeah, I have no idea why people are getting so slap happy backstage, but yes, Flash Burger episode will be killed.
Good old days. Sorry.
We're just old. That's what it is.
I know. Back in my day, you sent a telegram.
People got it too. No, don't leave you unread. Another action backstage. Our favorite wrestler of all time, Aaliyah James, is backstage having an interview where she was so rudely and disrespectfully interrupted by the Nina Samuels quote-unquote show. And the fact that she cuts in and says she's too short to even be on the show, while our favorite person on the planet, Aaliyah James, walked away. She has too much integrity to be on this program. Jack Farmer, what do you make of this? Nina Samuels backstage disrupting the order of things. What do you make of it?
You know, most conflict starts from just a simple miscommunication, and I think that's what happened just now. Now, Aaliyah James, she is the wrestler of the show. She's the home team of Draped in Gold, so to speak. So no matter what, we are both always behind Aaliyah James because she's the person that we have set as our favorite for the show. Yep. Nina Samuels, very smart, very able to see that, Aaliyah James, the pick of Draped in Gold, got to get that interview, but then that's when the misunderstanding started to happen. And I think Nina Samuels was like, you are such a star, I need to talk to you longer, but the time is short. And then Aaliyah James took that wrong, and so she walked off, and now they've got to figure these things out. It's a shame that these two of my favorites are maybe miscommunicating, but you know, if I know them, I think they'll work things out and it'll be okay. Maybe a tag team.
Well, shout out to Aaliyah James. Look, it wasn't like she was backstage sipping on a juicy juice. She was in the middle of an interview. And Aaliyah James came and interrupted the interview to ask her a question to put over her own show. So I don't think it was any miscommunication breakdown. It was disrespect.
No, she was like, look, you don't even have an interviewer here. You have some goof who's off camera that no one even sees. You need a professional, real Larry King type interviewer to come over and start asking the real hard-hitting questions. I think Nina Samuels was like, look, we can juice this up a bit. This isn't just some backstage segment. Let's bring some star power to it. Let's bring the star. Nina Samuels, both these two are shining brighter after this.
I don't understand why this guy always agrees with you, but Lamb says, Nina Samuels wanted to be nice to put that girl on the spotlight, and she was so rude against Nina Samuels left the interview. And to quote Halston Body, how dare you? You know, I know Halston personally, a fantastic Uno player. But anyway.
I feel like that is definitely an inside joke.
It is now. Why is that the case, man? Here is somebody who finally gets some time on the platform and Nina Samuels craps all over it. Are these two having a match, you think? Or is Xia Brookside still in the mix? I mean, what do you make of that?
Well, I would hope they don't. Nina Samuels is a backstage interviewer, and Aaliyah James should be challenging for titles. So these two don't match up as the way I see it. I think that these two are kind of just ships going in different directions. Like I said, they'll course correct, and maybe one day this will be the Hulk Hogan Mean Gene of NXT UK, where they just always together, two peas in a pod.
Well, we got to move on. A couple weeks ago on this show, Draped in Gold. If you listen to the audio version, thank you so much. Make sure you drop us a 5-star. We actually titled the episodes on Draped in Gold for the audio version. And one of the episodes from the summer was called The Summer of Amel. And Amel, as hot as she was, took a couple weeks off, back in the mix now against Myla Grayson. Well, she's trying to put her claim to be in the top of the women's division once more. And she got the win in a very convincing fashion. But I kind of feel some momentum has slowed up. I don't think she is high up as she believes she is. Am I off my rocker, Jack?
Amel is a perennial contender, similar to an A-Kid. Someone who, anytime you think of who should be challenging for a title, one of the first names you always come to mind. Now, she's been a bridesmaid, not a bride, for a while now. She's had some opportunities, fell a little short, but I thought she really bounced back and got into that championship contender status with this big win over Myla Grace, who, by the way, her NXT UK debut, and I thought she did a bang-up job herself. So great stuff there, but come on. Let's not pretend like we don't. Let's not pretend that we don't know what the story here is. Blair Davenport. She's went old school and did a slow clap at the top of the
ring. Yeah, she's back and she's doing the slow thing. Listen. Look, Blair Davenport has been an absolute tear. Momentum's on her side. I do think she's like picking, to be fair, someone who hasn't worked as often as she has, which is totally out of the book of Jack Farmer and how to bully someone. But is Amel the right one? Do you think Amel will somehow yield to Blair Davenport?
let me ask you a question here.
Ask me a question.
Would you like to see Blair Davenport versus Amel?
Why not?
But it'd be a pretty good match, right?
I guess so. Yeah.
So in a lot of ways, you're admitting I'm right, and Sid Scalia should have reinstated Blair Davenport and got her back on the roster and back contending, because we're about to get a match we both want to see.
Yeah, I would never admit that you're right. That's the thing. I would opt out of the conversation. No, never. Asterisk. Yeah, okay. She's back now. I get it. I want to see that match. Amel's doing a lot of things, but when these two things combine, like the movable force, like the whatever object, whatever, unstoppable force. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Point being, Amel, look, perennial contender. You said it yourself. Blair Davenport has pretty much been undefeated since being reinstated. Something has to give.
Is she undefeated? Like, that's a serious question.
I think Blair Davenport is undefeated. Well,
I believe she's undefeated in NXTUK.
Yeah, unless that one match was a DQ loss, but I don't think she's been pinned. Put it that way. Yeah. I don't think she's been pinned.
So this is one of those things that we always talk about, where is being great for a short period of time better than a history of successes and failures? Because right now, Blair Davenport, if she's undefeated, has had a few matches, but unbeaten versus Amel, who has been putting in the work for a long time. She had a little bit of a break, but she's been on a roll for a long time, beating a lot of people, but she's had a few step backs. Which one gets that shot? I'm a big fan of saying, let's put them all together, shake it up, and see what comes out on top. I say all three of them. Let's say four. Mako, Ginny, Amel, Davenport, put them all in the ring together. Let's see who the champ really is.
Choosing violence, I see. I like it.
I always choose, unless I'm involved. I always choose.
Right. Always choose passive if it involves me. But if
it's me, we can talk it out.
Right. Well, that's a good point here. NXT UK says that current momentum is more important. I agree. I think so too. But we'll get to this a little later with NXT. But usually the person that loses the title match trains really hard and gets it the second time. You said that a lot here too. But
so again, and to Lamb's point and to your point and everything else, again, anyone who watches this show to hear us talk about NXT 2.0 that doesn't watch NXT UK, you really should. Because the way they balance the divisions and just have so many people who could be a legitimate threat to the champion at any given time is masterful. It's incredible how they're able. You could take, with all the divisions, we're talking about the women's division right now, you could probably pull 5 names out of your hat right now that are all legitimate title contenders.
I'm still rooting for Stevie Turner besides Aaliyah James, but you're absolutely right. And I will talk about this on Twitter too. It's balancing division, it's rotating the roster so you're never bored or anything, and definitely the attention to detail. Everyone got new Titantrons, for example. You look at Charlie Dempsey has a very specific move set. Like, it is the small stuff I like about it. I know it's kind of like we're being a dead horse or preaching to the choir or whatever, but yeah, NXT UK is like my favorite show, like hands down. We cover a lot of wrestling for our jobs and our lifestyle, but NXT UK is a show to watch. Yeah, a whole lot, bro.
A lot.
I'm behind on Rampage. Leave me alone. But NXT UK is definitely a brand I would watch if I didn't have anything to do with wrestling.
It's such a good show.
Last question before we move on. We saw a little promo of Isla Dawn, and it looks like all the things she's been collecting over the past weeks is somehow conjuring into something else. Now, me, and I know you're a Lucha Underground fan, for some reason my brain's thinking she's conjuring a new superstar, but that seems kind of weird, right? What do you think Isla Dawn is conjuring?
I think she's doing some conjuring, but I think it's to make herself better. I think as we look back over the past to the things that she's taken from the other wrestlers, I think she's going to take the different strengths of the people she's lost to and make herself even better, almost like a Highlander, except a witch version. Is there a witch version of a Highlander? I don't know. There can only be one.
Damn, I knew you were going to say that. I would not stepped over it. I am so sorry. That was perfect.
So you get it though. I think that what's going to happen is she's going to find a way to take all these things that has beaten her in the past to make herself better. Lamb in the chat, I'm going to get there before you do, saying that Isla Dawn is creating a new superstar. So you imply that she's going to be Dr. Frankenstein making a monster.
I wonder how that works in a universe where people are high price signings, Hey, Mako, thanks for coming from Japan. We got a Frankenstein in the back. You want to take that down for us? Thanks.
Unfortunately, we made a Frankenstein and we're going to need your help.
Times are hard, labor shortage. No. Also, on the other side of the pond, NXT 2.0 had its second ever Halloween Havoc. And to me, it seemed, quote in my notes, the other reboot shoe dropped. A huge momentum shift with the title situation and picture. But let's go with a title retention. Our main event, Braun Breaker, for many, seeming to be the heir to the face of the 2.0 brand. The legacy had a match against Tommaso Ciampa, who came as Kratos, because, again, Halloween, hey. But Ciampa retained. Well, the question I have for you, Jack, before we get to the nitty-gritty of it all, was the actual result of the match this Tuesday surprising?
To your point originally about this being the other shoe dropping, to me, Halloween Havoc is when NXT 2.0 started. I think that this is everything they were working towards. They're there now. Now, the outcome of the match, I saw someone say this on Twitter. I wish I could properly quote them, but I didn't write down the name of them, but the thought's the same, is of all the title changes that needed to happen, this was the one, and this is the one that didn't happen. I feel like, especially with everything else, and maybe this is what we're supposed to be seeing, Ciampa seems like a man out of his own time. He doesn't feel like he fits this brand anymore, and maybe that is a good thing for him, but he feels like he's still a remnant of a bygone era now, instead of being the champion of this brand. He doesn't feel like he fits anymore.
Does Gargano feel that way too, or just Ciampa?
Gargano, I think, is doing a better job of fitting it. And I want to say this. I liked No One Will Survive Ciampa. I liked when he was the champion in the past. I think he's a great champion. I don't know if I feel like he fits this style, though, if that makes sense. It doesn't feel like it feels like you can be good at something and not necessarily fit that vibe. It's like Jim Carrey in a Medea movie. Like like both are great, but like it feels like they don't necessarily go together. Yeah. I think Braun Breaker, though, on the other hand, Braun Breaker, even in loss, that guy's a superstar. That guy I think he's going to be one of the biggest stars in the industry soon. I don't know what is next for him. I just think he moves so fast. He is so strong. He can wrestle so well. He's so explosive. I think that he is going to be someone that takes this industry by absolute storm, and this will be such a small footnote in his history.
Yeah, I'm with you too, and I try to approach this objectively. If this is the first time watching Draped go, I got my own personal biases about Champa, but I try to keep that aside for this. I did feel like with all the changes happening, that I was okay with a fourth title change. I didn't get it, but to me, what was interesting is that Ciampa beat him pretty decisively. It wasn't like a roll up. It wasn't like a survival thing. He kicked him in the head like 3 times, 2 widows, but like it was a dismantling of Braun that made you go, I wonder if that was like a statement the other way. Is it supposed to be a thing where we're still some of the old cool kind of thing? Are we the cool mom now, Ciampa? Like, I don't know what was it. That was the idea, but I am with you. I was on the fence of Braun Breaker for so many reasons, because we've had Curtis Axels, we had Mason Ryans, we had people with lineage and history, Ted DiBiase Jr., who didn't really go any farther. But I do think now that Braun Breaker would be the star that NXT needs.
I wonder if I don't like to pull back the curtain too much on this show, anyone who listens, but I wonder, and this is total speculation. I know nothing. I'm just totally guessing here. I wonder if there's just a level of, hey, kid, we got to humble you a little bit. We're not going to give you everything right away. You got to, even though you're going to be the guy, you still got to, do some favors along the way, Pay
your dues, baby.
Because, I wonder if there's a part of them that says, hey, we don't want to get down the line in 1 year when he's been undefeated for a year, and then suddenly now he's got an ego, Oh, yeah.
I really feel like it's a lot of the trajectory. A lot of these NXT UK trainers, they have the match, they come up short, they go back, they hire a new system, they get a new trainer, Eddie Dennis probably, and they come back even stronger, and they win the second time. So
with Eddie Dennis, to be unstoppable.
You know what? It's not true. Because Eddie Dennis gets stopped all the time. So I don't know why you said
that. Well, I was going to say, the one guy that could stop him is Eddie Dennis.
The propaganda. We got to move on. Because we talk about this all day. Really. It was a match that raised a lot of questions. So I want to move on to the tag team division. MSK versus Imperium, which if you guys have been reading the rumors and stuff, that I won't get into that because we're on a rumor show, but I had vested interest in what was going to happen in this one. It was a Jack-O-Lantern Lumberjack match, which I think it was a legit spin because the other spin was not. With Imperium getting the win. New tag team champion Jack Farmer. Without Walter, Imperium's on top.
I want to address the spin. I'm okay with them not being legit spins, by the way. Like if it's not legit, I'm okay with it. It's fine. I get it. I don't need to see them trying to
why
make
have
something
the
up
wheel?
Just for fun. It's a show. I don't care.
You could do a digital wheel then. Digital wheels can make that fake stuff work a lot better. I was
gonna say digital wheel is fine also. That's
fine. Okay. All right. Well, I can't argue for if you're beige, I can't be like, I disagree.
I mean, I think it's okay. But in any case, this one was very interesting to watch. I have been on the Imperium train for a long time. I bought stock long ago when it was very, very low, and it's finally going up. This is my Doji coin, my Shiba coin or whatever it's called.
Shiba to the moon. It's like what 1/1000% now.
Yeah. So it's look, they won. I thought it was great. I thought it was interesting the way this whole thing played out. I think those guys have just shredded themselves to the bone getting to this spot. I think they've earned it in every way, shape, and form. I like MSK too. They felt like for whatever reason, and look, there was a brand reset and all sorts of stuff that happened during their title reign. I think that even for them, it'll be beneficial for them to not have the titles for a little bit and maybe win them again down the road and get to sort of reestablish, because it felt like their title reign coincided with the change, which then made it kind of a weird reign. But Imperium, in every way, I think that they delivered. I also like their backstage promo. I liked that they just did it in German and they put the subtitles. I think that was
German and Italian. I know it's Italian.
German and Italian. So I liked it. I thought that worked great. And it's interesting that they're more successful without Walter, though. I think that's an interesting. And they kind of said something along the lines of, "Hey, we're loyal, but he's not here today." So
I picture Walter on his couch at the end of Dodgeball and just a bunch of snacks after losing his title, whatever, just giving them props for doing it. I want to say they had Tommy Carlucci doing the mix. I was like, he's using control. That's not what real DJs do. No, I'm totally kidding.
I have the exact same one literally right next to me.
But I think you're right. I do think that Imperium winning was interesting, but I do think it opens up a lot of possibilities in the tag team division, like Imperium versus Briggs and Jensen, Imperium versus Trick and Carmella. Of course, they go back to tag team division. I think they are kind of the old school era, but in a good way, where they can say, hey, look, we're timeless. We're about the ring. Why not do it?
Yeah, I think that makes them stand out in that division too, in a way that because everything is so exciting and colorful, I think them coming out in all black looks cool and look like it makes them stand out in a good way.
Yeah, another tag team match on the line. Another tag team match on the line. From the women's side, Zoe Stark and Io Shirai versus Toxic Attraction, Eddie Hart and Persia Pirotta in a scare way to hell matchup. The matchup was awesome, but puns, I swear to you. We have new tag team champions and Toxic Attraction, one half of their gold haul today. Jack Farmer, besides Io Shirai nearly killing herself, what were some highlights of the match you liked this week?
That was a scary fall, man. That's Io Shirai, what a champion for getting through that. But my takeaways were, I had a few takeaways here. Besides Io Shirai's tumble was very scary. That was what my notes said. Zoe Stark is a next level athlete. She is so good. She is so. I think her not being in a tag team hopefully gives her the chance to stand out on her own and really show that she can be something really special in that ring. I also think I was going to say Indy Loomis,
Barrett,
most improved. I think most improved female wrestler in NXT in, I guess, the year. I don't know. I'm not going back. I don't know how far I can go back with that, but she's gotten very good. She's definitely most improved. And Toxic Attraction getting the win. I said before, I'll say it again. Toxic Attraction is the new big bad of NXT 2.0. Yeah. I think that they look great, drenched in gold, draped in gold.
Hey.
So it's. I was thinking it's interesting though. It kind of shows a different thought process. When you go back to NXT 1.0, it took a team years to become draped in gold. And when it happened, it was this big moment that we all were surprised they actually were able to pull off. Now, Toxic Attraction does it their first month in.
Fair. I do think we earned it, but that just begs the question here. The women's tag team division is, well, who's around? Like, yeah, Indy Hartman, Persia Parada, I guess. And I don't think Io and Zoe are going to stay could be able to contend?
Well, that's what's beautiful about the current NXT 2.0 is they've got a lot of talent now that they can bring out there to fill that role. I think Elektra Lopez is still out there doing something. I don't know if she could use a partner. I think again, Indy and Persia, but they got a lot of. I don't know. They've got some women out there. Lash Legend could grab a tag team partner. We'll see.
Monj says he like NXT 0.5, and that's undisputed. Okay, I'm with you. I'm with that too. I think why not? I don't even mean it's a game show era or anything else, but that was pretty dope. Moving on real quick. This is a kind of a quick hit question, not really a burning question, but a quick hit question. Joe Gacy had a match against Malik Blade, and again, Malik Blade didn't win this one, but Harlan gets involved again. I'm trying to figure out what they're about. Jack, I know you're better at this than I am, like relationships in wrestling, but is he like a disciple? Is he like a student? Is he I don't know.
He is a sheep that has strayed from his flock, and Joe Gacy is trying to bring him back into the flock and make him one of his snowflakes. This, I think, is interesting. I think that Joe Gacy is a fascinating character for me. I don't really like some of the hippie references. I feel like that's a little dated, like the peace sign and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a little dated at this point. But I do like where he's going. I like this character. I like what he's working with here. I have a feeling when it comes to Harland. I always want to call him Parker. But Harland, I have a feeling we're going to look back at this role he's playing the same way we look at Deacon Batista, where it was this.
He's calling name.
I think it's going to be one of those things he did for a little bit, and it was there, but this won't be the thing that defines him. It'll be something that got him on TV. I know you hear the rumors and murmurs. They've got big plans for this fella. I think he's going to live up to him, but right now I think it's just a little bit of Joe Gacy trying to show that Harlan's safe. He's in a safe spot.
Creepy. Speaking of the creepy, yes, the caressing of faces is definitely.
Did you feel it?
We're in a pandemic, man. I cringe. So one of the crazy things that's also creepy was this idea of having a host of Halloween Havoc with Grayson Waller somehow losing the match, but granted, LA Light little car troubles, and that kind of had a little bit of a fun storyline back and forth. But the main story was the debut of Solo Sikoa, 15 years old, left alone, reference, to fight on the island. The street champion of the island showed up in a dominated fashion, but the crowd chanted Uso. Is that ideal for your boy Solo? And poor Grayson Waller for taking the first hit from him.
This is something that we've chatted about somewhat offline, and the reason that, for whatever reason, why WWE doesn't want to acknowledge some of the real names when we all clearly know who they are. I'm sure there's a reason why. I would love it if they just called him an Uso. I think that would be cool, but whatever. I think he looks great. He's a big, strong looking dude. I think he's going to have a huge upside. Grayson Waller, I think, was great as the host. I think he's someone that is going to always have a place on the show because he's so entertaining. A few things happened though with the Halloween party, is if I can shout about
go
that.
Go ahead.
I thought that there was an interesting moment where the dude asks Von Wagner, "Who are you?" And part of me was thinking, isn't that what we're all asking?
yeah, exactly. It's like, I'm Brad Pitt. You're like, oh.
Okay.
They know. They have to know.
And I was thinking Robert Stone getting chokeslammed through a table by the guy not dressed up as anything at the Halloween party. No one likes the guy that shows up to the Halloween party not dressed up as anything. This is my costume. Cheer him. Yeah. Boo! Put on a costume.
So Zion Quinn, I'm gonna clip this out and tag Jack Farmer and say, look, his address is 123 Fake Street. No.
How'd you know?
No, but I'm with you. I think Grayson Waller is fantastic. We saw a little bit of the next step of the Tony D'Angelo Last Legend saga with him getting a spot to be on Lashing Out next week. And I mean, look, I'm not a big fan of like Halloween stuff, and we'll get to the haunted house stuff in just a minute. But for what it was fun. I like it. It was okay. It was okay.
I thought it was fun. It was the backstage stuff was fun. It was silly. It was Halloween episodes are supposed to be kind of silly, I think. And so that's fine. I liked it.
I'm actually disagreeing with you about Solo real quick. I think, yes, he is an Uso, and I understand that. But, I mean, I would hate it if he showed up as the third Uso. I'd be like, oh, another one? Like, that's like the Cousin Oliver or Scrappy Doo. Like, that's an Uso we never talked about. So I kind of like the fact, if they acknowledge it later down the line, cool. But if you bring a character so late, I would rather have him have his own backstory for what it is. Personally.
Fair enough.
I think I had a question here from Charlene. Thanks for being on the show. Why do you boys dress up for today's stream? I actually had a costume idea, but the wrestler I picked isn't on the NXT or WWE roster. It was totally outside of that. That's why I was like, I don't have an idea. So I don't know about Jack.
Who are you going to dress up as?
Cero Miedo. Pentagon. Or Pentagon.
I like that.
Yeah, I want the face paint and everything. But hopefully McMahon does. We can talk about that later. What about you, Jack? Where's your costume?
I'm dressed up as you.
No. I do not wear grays. The only gray thing I own is a Jack Farmer sweater. That's it.
I don't have any Mets stuff.
Yeah, exactly. No one deserves that. No. That is committing too much to the bid. I'm like, oh, poor Jack. Get him a telethon. We gotta move on because we actually had another title match here. This one for the NXT Women's Championship. Well, La Chingona, Raquel Gonzalez had a match against Mandy Rose of Toxic Attraction. And I didn't think this was going to be the case, but it was. Toxic Attraction walks away with everything, but it wasn't clean. We had the return of Dakota Kai, someone I thought was already going to be head up north or on Red Brand or Blue Brand. Dakota Kai is still in NXT. She's attacking Raquel Gonzalez. Jack Farmer, is this the right decision for Dakota Kai? And what happens now that Mandy Rose is now the champ?
It's never the right idea to attack Raquel Gonzalez. Ever.
There you have it. See you next week.
I can't, Maj, I can't do accents, so I can't do a Kevin Patrick impression. But yeah, sure. Yep. Lucky for him that this face is dressing up as him, but whatever. No,
okay. Respect.
So I like Kevin Patrick. I'm just being a jerk. But yeah, I never attacked Raquel Gonzalez. Are you kidding? That's crazy. Crazy talk. I'm glad that this happened. I think when you saw those vignettes of her saying she's reinventing herself, who could it be? I think we all knew it was Dakota Kai. You could tell the voice was her right away.
Yep.
So I'm glad they didn't drag that out for a long time because it just felt obvious. So I'm glad they just kind of did it. Feels a little bit like, didn't we just have these two go out, have a rivalry?
Right.
But whatever. I think it'll still be fun. The story, though, Toxic Attraction took over everything. And what shocked me, someone mentioned, and I didn't fact check it, so I'm just going to assume it's true. This is Mandy Rose's first title in WWE.
That is correct. It is.
That blows me away that she's never had a title of any kind until now.
Well, Absolution was stopped because of Paige's injury. Then Fire Desire were like perennial contenders. And then they split them up with that Otis storyline. So she wasn't focused there. And then they put her with Dana Brooke. And that win loss record wasn't good. So yeah, it's pretty much a weird thing, but I get it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I see it. It's happened, but it's crazy. Like, because she's been around for so long. She's been used. She's been on TV. She's won matches, etc. It's crazy. She's never been able to get a title. So it's cool that she finally got one. And it's cool that she did it in a way where she's the boss of her group and she's the leader and she's the new face of the brand.
Yeah, and I saw her live this past August. She's huge. Like, she's like what I think Beth Phoenix would be. Like, she's stacked, jacked, if you will.
Yeah.
So
every wrestler is way bigger than you think they are. I always say I saw Leo Rush in person, who's like the smallest guy in pro wrestling. Just that. I mean, he's short, but he's like just a house of a person.
Oh, absolutely. Well, what do you make of this brand integration with Chucky? You know, Chucky's Choice, and Chucky's Choice is like, yeah, man, let's do one of these matches, street fight. Like, it's like, wait, who's booking this? I thought he was something a little more like intense, you know, like a barbed wire and a pole match or something.
I think that I like the interaction between him and Braun Breaker. I thought it was a fun shout out to the interaction with Rick Steiner in the past. So I thought that was fun. I thought the way they used him was fun. It wasn't a huge thing. It didn't impact anything, but it was still just like, hey, cross branding. It's Halloween. It works. My favorite thing, though, was actually Malcolm Bivens on social media. I don't know if you follow him, but he said he was going to. You try not to. He said that he was going to powerbomb Chucky off the Titantron, and then he took a picture of himself with Chucky holding him up like this, and he's like, "This guy's stronger than I thought."
He drops Chucky in his own stream. That's awesome. Listen, man, the dog goes over. Okay,
it's a funny. Just a funny interaction. Malcolm Bivens is a good follow on Twitter, by the way.
Well, yeah, he's kind of thirsty. He's kind of thirsty. And elsewhere, Roderick Strong gets the winner of Odyssey Jones. But I have a very more important question. Second year of Halloween Havoc, second year of a haunted house. This time, Carmelo and Trick are trying to get the North American title back, and they go through another house that's different but still haunted. What is Dexter doing? This whole kind of occult real estate. To me, it was kind of fun, and like we were saying offline, Trick Williams has become something else, of a different character, something a lot more enjoyable. This time around, Jack, did it work for you?
I loved this. I love this kind of stuff. Again, when used right, I think the silliness is good because you go into this situation knowing it's going to be silly. So you're not getting, at least I don't get hung up on like, well, these guys are supposed to be fighters and blah. Like, it's silly. It's fun. It's a Halloween episode, whatever. And that's exactly what this was. It was fun. I'm glad we got cinematic matches back for a day. I would be okay, by the way, if much like Hell in a Cell has its own pay-per-view, that the Royal Rumble has its own pay-per-view. If every year on Halloween we got a cinematic horror match, I think you don't call it Halloween Havoc cinematic horror match, but it's just a thing. You're going to get a cinematic horror match every Halloween. I think that'd be a fun little treat. And this was hilarious. I think Trick really stood up. I loved. My favorite part, I had to write it when Carmelo goes, "Oh, it's just a dead kid." He goes, "It's just a dead kid."
yeah, I have that in my notes too. okay, Trick. Yeah, why not?
I definitely I almost choked on that when I was like, it's just a dead kid. And then Andre Chase was hilarious too. Did someone say Andre Chase? No.
No. I'm just hanging out in this haunted house, just hanging a good time of my life.
I think your kids are in the woods. What are they doing in the woods?
so the second time around, we actually had like Gargano there with Dexter Loomis. They're doing all the spooky stuff to get a couple shots in. What do you make of that though? That part, like you got Dexter Loomis just basically putting a haunted house maze for funsies and let them walk away with the title. What's up with that?
That was kind of weird to me, and that's when I realized, wait a minute, Johnny Gargano and Dexter Loomis are the bad guys here. Like, they stole the title and are now terrorizing these guys, just trying to get it back. Like, you should just give it back, right? Like, it's not yours. But again, you kind of, I think I saw someone tweet. I'm stealing a lot of tweets today without crediting, so just FYI.
Hero.
Someone tweeted, were the zombies actual zombies or were they people paid by Gargano? Either way is ridiculous.
These zombies are trained, man, from Central Casting.
So it was but again, I take all those thoughts, right, and I just put them aside because this is just a silly, fun, goofy bit. It's fun, it's silly. If they had changed titles this way, like if Johnny Gargano somehow quote unquote beat Carmelo and became the champion, I'd say, okay, that's not funny. But this was just a stupid, silly, happy Halloween moment. And for that, I dig it.
So let me quote Jack Farmer on Twitter. He says, quote, Flobo hates fun. Why do you say this? Why do you say this, man?
Did you like this bit?
You know what? I think it was okay.
You hate fun.
No, what? To me, I think this would have been tired compared to last year. Last year's I enjoyed. This one's kind of like, oh, you're doing this again. But really, it really was Trick Williams for me that made this interesting. Him putting the comedy horror and doing it differently made me go, okay, I'm willing to accept this for what it is. But if it becomes a haunted house, like I love the cinematic idea, but if it's a haunted house every year, I'm like, really? Give me a boneyard match. Give me a backstage warehouse match or something. But yes.
I'm sure.
Fun Vito. Fun detail from my
I do say that, and by the way, just so we're clear, because I saw some people say if WWE did the AEW Dynamite finish, they would be mad. I liked them both. Guess what? They were both silly and they were both fun. I like them both. So take that. But I will say that I agree. I don't want it to be a haunted house every time. I'm just saying like a cinematic, like
I'm with
horror thing. Like like if they did the Boneyard again, that'd be fun or whatever.
Actually, that should be in the wheel next year. But it's time for my favorite part of the show. It's time for my burning questions, baby. Help me out. I was watching this NXT 8.0 with these questions. Maybe you have some more insight because I don't have any insight when it comes to these things. In your opinion, better host, Shotzi Blackheart, Chucky, or LA Knight?
Shotzi Blackheart.
Yeah, I agree. Is it just me, or did Chucky sound tired as hell? Look, I got some matches.
He's had a lot of he's had a crazy shooting schedule with his new TV show and the promos and of course the press tours. Yeah, he needs a break.
Oh, for sure. Speaking of things that need breaks but came back, NXT debuted the superstar profile. I think it's a dope idea, but still late to the party. What say you?
I like it. I mean, I know there more.
Okay, the segment was sponsored by Geico, and I didn't know that the Geico was a sponsor of NXT. Do you think NXT is selling out? Would this belie its cool image factor?
I just don't like Geico commercials. I don't like.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
That's a deep cut.
Yeah. Okay. I rescind my question because Jack has trauma with these Geico commercials.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Geico commercials, but look, I'm never gonna fault someone for selling out. I'll sell out any day of the week. Speaking of, have you tried Broster's Coffee?
I have. It's delicious when I can afford it.
Go to Broster's Coffee. Use bro code 1 now for yours.
Does that even work still? Does that bro code work?
I don't know.
Oh wow.
There's one way to find out, folks. Go to Broster's Coffee. Try promo code bro code 1.
The worst pitchman ever. The worst. Do you think Fabian Eichner and Marcel Bartel understand each other, or are they just talking different languages back and forth?
That's a great question.
I'm being silly.
I was actually no, because I mean they might not know each other. Like so they might when they're doing that just be saying whatever. I was actually thinking to myself, what if that wasn't what they were saying? The subtitles. What if they just said say whatever, and then WWE went in and just put whatever they wanted them to say?
Oh yeah, we wouldn't know. Not at all.
No, not at all. I'd say, oh okay, I guess this is.
What say you about Kaylee R's promo? She's mad, bro. She's mad.
She should be. She was the forever champion, the longest reigning champion in forever, and now she's relegated to barely being on TV. She should be mad. I agree with her.
So Champa before his match wore a T-shirt that says "Mr. NXT 2.0." Agree or disagree?
Hard to disagree when he's the champ.
How is it that LA Knight shows up to work an hour late and still wants his job?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's a funny little bit that these two guys are building off of with each other. This rivalry that isn't. I like that him and Grayson Waller have a rivalry right now that isn't just someone wants the title or whatever. It's just two big personalities, and one's kind of a fuddy-duddy and one's a fun guy, and it's not working. So I like it.
Got one more for you. Wade Barrett, the best commentator in WWE right now. True or false?
He might be. He's great. I think him, McAfee, and I'm a big guy. Like I said, I like my NXT UK, so I like those two blokes over there.
Fair enough. Shout out to Andy Shepherd and Nigel McGuinness. But even though Nigel does 205 Live, he's way better than UK, in my humble opinion. But that's just me, man. Well, we're about to get out of here soon, but it's not time for the MVP of NXT. That's the one person that stuck out for you the most. Jack, who was your MVP this week?
It was the conquering hero, Noam Dar, your new Heritage Cup champion, baby, beating Tyler Bate, beating Trent Seven in basically a 2-on-1 match, the way those two work together, and getting them beaten down so bad they threw in the towel. Noam Dar, your Heritage Cup champion and mine, and the MVP of the week.
I can't argue with that. I had a written down trick just because of being able to sell that haunted house, but it comes down to actual beating up people, even though the finish was kind of suspicious there. Jackery. Got to give Noam Dar, Supernova 11, congratulations on being the new Heritage Cup champion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it is. It's time to get out of here. Time to get out of here. We gotta roll because Jack has so many people to talk to. He's a man in demand. But if the world want to follow you online, good sir, how to go about doing that?
You can find me at Real Jack Farmer across all social media where I'm doing Mac Mania for The Ringer and Spotify with you and Mac and Brian H. Waters. Also doing Anytime Radio, but also fun news. I'm going to be a part of Championship Wrestling from Hollywood on October 31st at Commerce Casino. Come join us live. But if you can't be there live, you can always check out the show on YouTube or on TV listings. Check your local TV listings. What's fun is I'm going to be joining the commentary team this week. So I'm going to have the headset on. I'm going to be calling the action right next to TK Todd Kennelly and my boy James Kincaid. So should be fun. It'll be a great time, and you'll get to hear my voice talking over all your favorite wrestling.
Oh, great. On Sunday, I'm going to be eating candy. But besides that,
watching the show like Walter, right?
No, I want to watch your show, bro. I'm watching Walter. He's way cooler. No, sitting there with my candy. Whatever, Imperium. No, yeah, man. DrapedGold.com is the show here every Thursday. Mac Mania. Make sure you do that if you are a fan of the Ringer Network. You put it in the Ringer Wrestling Show. We share a feed with the Masked Man, so make sure you follow it. Give us a 5-star review and all that jazz. And if you want to support the homie right here on the YouTube channel, make sure you buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.flobo boys. A little tip jar, a little bit of that support. You know how it is. We do this out of the love and soul of our hearts and all that jazz. So, Jack Farmer, we know we gotta get ready for your show this weekend. I have to get my snacks because I'm just a grown fellow. But until next time, please say the words.
Do your best and be yourself.